Now joining me on the line now is middleweight Patrice Volny, who on Thursday night, June the 6th, takes on Steven Butler in a all-Canadian middleweight clash that'll be seen live on ESPN Plus. Patrice, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing really good. Just did the weigh in this morning, so feel great. There, both of us made the weight, so can't wait to fight.
Well, before we talk about the fight, let's talk about that weigh-in. There was some fireworks before the fight here at the weigh-in. You guys had to be separated. Some names were being called. What's that all stem from?
So we did the weigh-in, the face to face. He got a little bit closer to my face, so put the forehead on his forehead. Both of us did it. He got a little bit frustrated of it, so he pushed me back, but I didn't react at all because I'm not bothered at all by that. So he's a little bit upset now.
Is this a fight that I know? Obviously, you guys have been in and around the middleweight division. Two guys from Canada for years. Is this a fight that's kind of been festering for a couple years now?
It's been a fight I've been looking to. That was one of the fight I was trying to fight for like the last 4 years. So there was a lot of I don't know reason why that we can fight or situation that make the fight never happen. But that's one of the fight because I think for myself that to be on the top, I have to clear the Canada first before starting to try to clear other countries or the U.S. to compete to different places.
He's a guy who fought for the middleweight title. He fought against Janibek a couple years back. You're a guy, I believe you fought an eliminator against Falcao a couple years back as well. So obviously, you feel a win over Butler kind of gets you right back to where you were, maybe knocking on the door for a world title opportunity.
I think it's an opportunity. You know, there's a belt on the line, so I think after my fight against Falcao, that got stopped because of accidental headbutt. I think that's a possibility to bring me back on the top 15 or top 10 in the world, back where I used to be before, because I was not take off of the top 10 because of the losses. I was take off because inactivity because of the COVID. So I take that fight as an opportunity to get back in the ranking and trying to reach the best.
And I believe that fight, the fight with Falcao was on I think the pay per view. I think maybe it was the Crawford Porter pay per view or
Crawford
something.
Port, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
like you said, you kind of were off for a little bit. You have a couple fights that you've won since then, and like you said, that fight was stopped early because of the cuts and from the headbutt. And it was a 1 point fight either way. So it was a fight that was right there to be had. Have you, after that fight, did you look back and say it was this close, and then it would have been you fight for a world title?
Yeah, he was actually I'm not really agree with the decision, but whatever happened happened. So I think that's one fight that could have gave me opportunity because Falcao did have opportunity to fight for the world title. Actually, he went to fight against a German guy. He lost it, but there's a little feeling that should have been me going there to have that opportunity.
34 years old now. And the middleweight division, it's pretty wide open in the sense that I mean, Janibek, I know, has been calling for big fights. He's fighting the fighter from, I believe, Germany coming up for
Yep.
his title, who's a unknown guy. You know, the one known commodity in division is Charlo, but he hasn't fought at that weight in probably about 32 years, it seems like. And
Yeah.
you feel that there's definitely some opportunity for someone to kind of break through and become a big star in one of the sports glamour divisions, which is middleweight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the division's been moving a lot. The middleweight, I see a lot of people move up to Canelo division, or a lot of people trying to be a super middleweight or moving to super middleweight. So that give a lot of opportunity. You know, now that the Charlo got stripped off his belt, create more opportunity. But Johnny Beck is the man now that he has the belt now. So that's the guy we're trying to reach to. And so I think there's a lot of chance. So that we can actually reach that and get that opportunity to fight him. But first, we got to pass this next fight that we have on this Thursday, and now we'll see on the future.
You feel this fight's being going to be live on ESPN Plus United States, which is a platform controlled by Top Rank, and he's with Top Rank. And you feel it with a real good showing. Like you said, it's for a belt that gets you in the rankings and all that other good stuff that comes with it. You feel with a win and especially a strong performance. You say to the people on the ESPN Plus platform in the United States, hey, I'm right there to fight him as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not I'm not trying to dock nobody. It's a boxing. It's a sport for me, so I treat it as a sport. And I think you have to fight everybody. Everybody. If there's somebody say is the best, I think that's the guy we should try to fight. So put people in front of me. I fight them if I pass the test. Bring me to the top.
Steven Butler is a guy who's been around for quite a while now. Even though he's just 28 years old, but he's been in some good fights. Like we said, he got stopped in two by Janovic last fight. Uh, he stopped Canadian Steve Rolls. So maybe like you, he's trying to become the man in Canada. Maybe he feels he needs to clean up Canada before he steps back out. Tell us about Steven Butler and what he brings to the table.
It's a good boxer that I know for quite a long. We've been to the amateur together, not in the same weight, but we've been to the amateur together. Uh, a good puncher, pretty good puncher, a lot of knockout in this division, but nothing that I didn't see. I see a lot of things. I'm moving around, go every time training camp in Las Vegas, sparring with a lot of people. So it's not something that I never see. A puncher is a puncher. I see a lot of weakness in this boxing that we did work on it. For that actually fight that's coming up. So it's nothing that I'm not ready for.
You mentioned you've been training in Vegas. Talk about that as compared to, I would imagine you've probably spent most of your camps in Montreal. How do you, I mean, I know I've been out to Vegas many times. There's so much work out there for a fighter such as yourself to get. And how do you feel that has upped their game?
I think it's a big plus. It's different. Not only because you far from home, there's no distraction, there's no nothing, but there's Vegas is a boxing city. So everybody in Vegas come in Vegas to prove something. So they're all trying to be the best, and that's a big thing. That's a big difference in the sparring session, in everything around. It's not mean, it's not friendly. If you get dropped in sparring, you get dropped in sparring. So they're going all in, and I think that's actually whatever's closest to the fight that you can get. I said Vegas has a lot of boxer, and they're all trying to be the best. So that can only push you to work harder and be on the top too.
I know your manager, trainer Eric Belanger has he's relocated out there. I know he's been spending a lot of time in Vegas, and obviously
Yep.
that's probably the link that has got you to Vegas. I mean, like you said, you mentioned about doing the sparring, whatever. But did you feel like getting all that world class work? Do you feel that you are a much better fighter being in Vegas than you would have been had you stayed in Montreal?
Absolutely, absolutely. I see a lot of difference. I had chance to put the gloves with a lot of top boxer. I spar with Caleb Plant. I went in the ring with Shane Mosley Jr. A lot of boxer, so they're not easy tag. So the proper boxer, you will learn when you end that training camp. You will go home with something different knowledge, different attitude, because you see how the boxing goes in a different state or a different country. So for me, it was a big plus. I'm not gonna say that everybody be able. Some people's gonna get smashed or crack in if they go to Vegas because the mentality is not the same. It's war. We warrior, and we want to be the first and the top one.
I know you mentioned that you want to conquer all the guys in Canada before you try to conquer the world. Even more specific, you and Steven are both Montreal guys. So I mean, does that add? You think that maybe added a little bit to the animosity today at the weigh-in?
Um, I want to say I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know because it's a big city fight. It's a Quebec fight. It's a big Quebec fight. We both in Montreal, not too far from each other. So I think the fact that we want to be the top number one home might for sure put a little bit of pressure or stress or whatever on him, not on me because I feel great. A little bit stressed to act the way he want to act. I'm not blaming him. You do what you got to do. If that make you comfortable, you do what you got to do. But there's nothing gonna take me off of my game plan.
A couple more questions with Patrice Volny. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this. A Canadian going for the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup?
The Canadian, if they're going for the World Stanley Cup, not now.
But you have Edmonton, who's a Canadian team playing against
Oh yeah,
Florida. So I guess he'd probably be going for Edmonton, correct?
it might. It might. I hope not, but it might.
Well, I'm
You
saying,
might go. You might go for Edmonton. That's
yeah,
what you said, right?
yeah, Edmonton's playing Florida, so I would imagine you'd be rooting for the Canadian team to win, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I don't care. I want Edmonton if they're playing. I hope they win against Florida.
There you go.
I hope so. I hope so.
What do you want to say to the fans in closing before we let you go? Thursday night, we're taping this Wednesday night. We'll get this up as soon as possible. Before we see you fight Thursday night, June the 6th, against Steven Butler, an all Montreal Canadian showdown. A very important fight in the super middleweight division for positioning. Patrice Volny, what do you want to say to the fans in closing?
Stay ready. Watch the fight June 6th. So that means tomorrow be ready. It's gonna be fireworks. Somebody's gonna go down.
Live on ESPN Plus here in the United States. Patrice, we thank you for a few minutes of your time. We'll talk to you along the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.